So they lived here like the first year of their marriage, but they came here in the summer.
Oh,
They didn't know
Gotcha.
about the rest of the year.
Welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. Here's your host, Scott Cowan.
all right, Melody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for making me coffee. I mean, anybody that makes me coffee is a friend.
Oh, anytime. I got to put the Keurig that my dad sent me to use.
Okay. Well, thanks, Melody's dad. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's get started. I'm going to ask you, why don't you, so we're all about Washington State here. You're in Washington State, but you're not from here. You're here now, and you're a singer-songwriter. There's got to be a story there.
There is.
Let's hear it.
I don't know. It's a long one.
We got lots of tape.
Well, in 19... No. I was born in Texas.
Okay.
My dad was a pastor back in the Bible Belt, and he taught me how to play music by ear. But then he started writing books, actually. So now he's an author. He's a historian.
Oh.
But blah, blah, blah. We end up back in St. Louis, where my parents are from. They're high school sweethearts. We got a huge Irish Catholic family there, 70 cousins. You know, went to the all-girls Catholic high school. Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then I fell in love when I was like 17 with this Marine JAG, who's probably going to be the president someday. And he was moving to Washington, D.C. So I thought, I'll get into a journalism program in D.C. and be near this guy. So I did somehow, even though I don't know if I was good at journalism or even if my grades were. Somehow the essay I wrote must have been really compelling.
Okay.
End up in DC, study journalism, but it's a lot of like dying and shooting and talking about that. And it depressed me. And I would want to put little poems in, and they'd say, well, that's not journalism. Like, cut it down. So moved back to St. Louis, heartbroken because it didn't work out with the Marine. He did come back in my life like 1,000 times after that. That's a long story. But moved back, started cocktail waitressing, went to flight attendant school. That didn't last long because I ran late for flight attendant school.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be late.
No.
And so there I am. I'm like, that's it. I'm just going to write a novel about my heartbreak and be this cocktail waitress. And my dad's like, well, you got this brochure to audition for this conservatory in New York. Maybe you should just go. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm going to be a novelist. I'm going to be Bukowski. Like, he's like, no, you should go. So we go. I get in. I moved to New York City and I start doing theater.
Okay.
And live in a hotel. They had like a floor for the students at the New Yorker, the 14th, because they don't have a 13th floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Did that. But started getting into music and would write songs on the side, play little jazz gigs. I meet this jazz pianist from France. He's there playing some gigs. We fall in love. We go to went to Marsalis' apartment. We all jam out. He convinces me to move to Paris with him. And it's winter in New York. And I'm broke and cold. And so I agree. Breaking my father's heart.
Okay.
He wanted me to be a famous actress. And so I moved to Paris and we played jazz on the streets and in festivals, me and my French boyfriend. And we drink wine and we walk around naked. And we did play at a nudist camp.
Okay. All right.
Got to play Paris Fashion Week. Did the whole jazz. Started writing our own songs. Blah, blah, blah. The Marine comes back in the picture and says, you're the one. So I drop everything in France because I'm still probably a stupid 18-year-old girl inside. And I move to LA and I get a record deal for the songs with the French boyfriend while staying with the Marines family, trying to figure out if we're going to. So the Frenchman comes over, we get this record deal with Pat Boone, ironically. He's the guy who signed us.
Pat Boone signed you.
Pat Boone, yeah. I sing to him in his office. He says, I'll put out your record. But of course, they're not set up to put out like contemporary records.
Right.
So it's an odd situation. Doesn't do much.
Okay.
Frenchie and I break up. I'm living in LA by myself now. So I'm like, what now? So long story, get a manager that I actually meet via a wall. I was listening in through a wall to people writing songs They dropped a name. I Googled it. Googled that person's manager. He became my manager. I started playing on the street. I started playing in a hotel lounge. He started setting me up with sessions. He was Ryan Tedder's agent. I get in the songwriting world, get my first publishing deal, and start writing for like bigger people, Hillary Duff and Kelly Rowland and Michael Bublé and Pink. But the hard thing is you can write 1,000 songs and even Pink can record one, but will she put it out? It's
right.
like, so it's just like, it's an amazing business, but it's heartbreaking because you get so close and it's so hard to break through. And even if they do put it out, is it a hit?
Right.
So
has anybody put out any of your stuff?
Yeah. Like I've had Kelly Rowland put it out. Hillary Duff put some stuff out. You know, Michael Bublé's got one that he might put out. It's like that kind of thing. Burt Bacharach put it out. But there's so many that are still just, you know, sitting there.
Right.
And so I started putting out my own stuff, and that did even better than all the stuff for the other people. So did that for a while. I feel like I'm really blabbering.
No, it's interesting because it sounds like a made for TV drama show.
Yeah,
you know,
it does, right?
the Jag and the French guy, and then Paris
It was a Jag. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, and you know, and then but now we're in LA, and you're a songwriter, and you in Pink and Michael Bublé, and you dropped a name in there, which I'm going to come back to. We'll leave it for now, and it's fascinating. It's just fascinating, but. In theme of the show, how'd you end up here?
Right. So the publishers say, you should go write in Nashville. We think you'd do well there. They send me to Nashville. I go to a baseball game. I meet this guy. We fall in love. I get pregnant. Like unexpectedly, in like a month. And so then it's like, well, here we go. Next chapter. His job moves us back to LA. But he's from Washington.
Okay.
So his whole family lives up here. Then the music business takes a real hit. His company sells. We move back to Nashville because he's going to start like a new career. And then he's finally like, you know what? This is too hard. We don't have any support. Let's move to Washington where my family is. And that was kind of the end of our relationship. Yet here we are in Washington.
But here you are in Washington.
And I do love it, ironically. I never planned on being here. I don't know anyone here.
Had you ever been here before?
Only with him.
Okay.
But when my parents first got married, they left St. Louis and they went on this honeymoon drive. And my dad said, we'll stop wherever you want. And they kept going all the way to Washington.
Okay.
And that's actually, my mom goes, this is where I want to live. So they lived here like the first year of their marriage. But they came here in the summer.
Oh.
They didn't know
Gotcha.
about the rest of the year.
Gotcha.
So they left soon after.
Now, come on. In all fairness, Western Washington's that way. Eastern Washington's got real weather.
Are you from Eastern Washington?
I'm from here.
Okay.
I grew up maybe 2 miles from where we're sitting.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
Off of Canyon Road.
So did you go to like Puyallup Pie?
I went to Franklin Pierce.
Was it good?
No, it was horrible. Could not wait to leave.
Really?
Oh yeah. I graduated high school and went to college immediately.
Why
left.
was it so bad? Just small towny or?
I did not like Tacoma.
Really?
I did not.
Was it dangerous back then?
No, it was just boring. It was, to me as a 17, 18-year-old kid, it was boring. Yeah. So I went to Ellensburg. You know,
where's that?
Middle of the state. You know, the town.
Is that more exciting?
No, not at all. But that's where I went to college, and then
what college is there?
Central Washington University.
Okay.
And so that was my freshman year was the best 6 years of my life.
Really?
I enjoyed myself in Ellensburg, and then moved to Seattle.
What's the vibe of Central Washington? Is it really liberal?
Well, this was a long time ago.
Like,
long time ago.
Okay.
Long years ago. Ellensburg is really noted for the Ellensburg Rodeo. They have a really large rodeo on Labor Day weekend. Oh. So, and then there's a lot of ranches around it.
That sounds pretty much like here. Why'd you?
No. It was very small town. Very small town.
You left a small town to go to a smaller town?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't judge. This is about you, not me. And then moved to Seattle and lived in Seattle for 25 years or so. And
what were you doing there?
Myriad of jobs. And then, life brought me back to Tacoma. Because I love
Tacoma, ironically.
And Tacoma's improved a ton. So let me before anybody hates me for saying I don't like Tacoma, because whenever I speak my mind, they know. But no, Tacoma's improved a ton. Don't get me wrong. but we left Tacoma about 4 years ago, moved to Wenatchee, which is just north of Ellensburg in the center of the state on the Columbia.
About some fires there.
Yeah.
So how's it doing?
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're here, you like Tacoma. How's the music business for you in Tacoma? I mean, I'm going to guess it doesn't matter where you are now, as long as you've got a Shure SM7B and an internet connection.
That's pretty much how it is. During the pandemic, actually, it was the best my career has ever been because, I'm a single mom. Usually single moms don't get a chance to play on alt radio.
Right.
Because you have to be on tour. And so people think, oh, well, you can't go on tour. You're a single mom, which is not true. And I hope that changes. But it's a still blurry line of how much I should show that I'm a mom. Like even on social media, it's interesting because they'll instantly put you in a box. But because there was no touring, they just heard the song and they're like, oh, this is a really cool song, and started spinning it on the end. And K-Rock, and it became the song of the month or something here, the featured song of the month on the end. And it's just really cool. And then I did get to open for this guy, Andrew McMahon. He was from Jack's Mannequin at some drive-in tours.
Okay.
So it was like COVID or the pandemic, it kind of worked in my favor. And, but yeah, now it's a little different. Things are opening up and I am feeling the difference of, if I was in LA, I could be playing gigs at all these venues I know, or Nashville, I could be writing with all these producers I know. So I'm trying to now branch out and see, all right, what's here, like music wise? What, how am I going to make this sustainable as a musical person?
Right. So, well, I mean, I think isn't that the $24,000, $64,000 question? How are we going to make a living doing the thing?
Yeah.
So how would you describe your music currently?
Right now, I'd say it's indie, alt rock singer-songwriter.
Indie alt rock singer. And where do you walk me through? Because I am not musical. I love music. I am not allowed to touch a musical instrument because it will break. I'm not allowed to sing.
Don't touch my piano then.
Yeah, I will not touch your piano. Okay. I don't sing. The fact that microphone is worried about me.
You got a great voice for podcasting.
I have a face for radio and I can talk, but I can't sing. So
not true.
No, I can't sing. Trust me. Just
except you do have something on your face right now. It's like I'm just kidding.
Okay. Glad this is an audio only program, folks. She's making fun of me.
It's a beard. He has a beard on his face.
Yeah, COVID. So
you trimmed your beard since I met you. It used to be pointy.
Yeah, it's been trimmed.
Yeah,
okay. And it's still okay.
One of my favorite things to do is make people feel really awkward.
That's awesome. You're throwing me off. I love it. So what's your process for, how are you writing? Because here's the thing. You say you're writing all these songs and they're being, I'm oversimplifying probably, but you don't just call Michael Bublé up and go, hey dude, I got a song.
No.
So how are you, obviously your songwriting has something that someone is going, hey, so-and-so needs to listen to this. Yeah. This is a good fit for Mr. X or Mrs. Y. How do you get your inspiration to do this?
Sounds like a cool band.
Yeah. So how are you doing this?
Well, I have a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second publisher. I'm with Spirit Music Publishing. So they're really the gatekeepers. It's really hard to not have a publisher or someone in your corner, a manager, an agent, because it's so competitive out there.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of writing for film and TV lately. That's super competitive also. And I'm new at that. But so I'll just, when I feel emotional, which I do, like for a week out of every month, really emotional. Pretty much. I'm serious. I'll sit down at the piano, or I'll be trying to fall asleep and can't sleep. I'll record a voice memo, or I'll just have a song come to me while I'm driving in the car, or occasionally, smoking a cigarette, which I shouldn't. Very bad. All you kids out there, do not smoke. But, an idea will come and I'll record it. And then if I have a session with a producer that they set me up with, I'll bring that idea in. And if they like it, we'll work on it. They'll produce it up, make it awesome. Then if my publishers think it's sick, then they'll pitch it to an artist or to a movie, It's a whole process. And even if they do like it, it's like a 0.0001% that the movie will choose it.
Sure. And then maybe it gets 30 seconds in, it's a snippet, but still it's gotta be cool to say, I think it's awesome for you to be able to say, well, the name I have a question.
Burt Bacharach?
Yeah, that's the question that I have that, I keep dancing around. But
yeah.
How were you introduced to this? Okay, for everyone that's younger than me, they probably don't know who the man is.
Yeah.
But highly prolific, highly respected.
A legend.
One of my favorite musicians of all time wrote with him, and that's Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
And Elvis Costello said nothing but great things about Burt Bacharach. Yeah. So not that I know Elvis, I never met Elvis Costello. But the point is that here's this man who's kind of revered.
Definitely.
And you write with him, so how did that happen?
I was thinking like, should I call him right now? But I don't want to put him on the spot.
That'd be bizarre.
He does call me just to check on me. Like that's how caring he is,
right?
And kind. Like once you meet him, he cares about people, and
right.
He's 93. But it's funny you brought up Elvis Costello because when I talk to him about that, he'll say he thinks that's some of his greatest work that he ever did was that album with Elvis Costello that won a Grammy, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's very proud of that album with Elvis.
Yeah. So how were you introduced to him?
My old publisher. So I'd make little songs on Instagram. I was doing this thing. I still do it sometimes. It's called 1,000 Songs for 1,000 Strangers. I just thought of it.
Okay.
It actually really ended up opening a lot of doors along the way because I'll just meet people, make up a song about them, sparks conversation. But I did one for someone online and I did This Guy's in Love, but I did This Girl's in Love.
Right.
And my publisher was surprised I knew that song. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, I love Burt Bacharach. It was my mom's favorite artist.
Okay.
My mom would always play the Carpenters, and sing me, why do birds suddenly appear? And, so he's like, well, I know Bert. I wrote a song with Bert with Sheryl Crow. And so he's like, I'll try to put you in touch. So he put me in touch with his secretary, / agent / manager / everything.
Right.
This wonderful British woman. But, it was like, we had to keep following up. Like he's hard to get to, and finally she's like, well, if you're in the area, you could stop by and meet him and see how it goes. So I was so nervous, I was like, what do I bring to Burt Bacharach? So I made him a painting. I was like, okay. I just painted him an abstract painting. I didn't know what do you give the guy who was everything, and was led to his piano room. I was just waiting in there looking at pictures of his family and his artwork and his pianos. And, he comes in, I'm just shaking. I'm like, here, Bert, I made you this painting, and he was so sweet and just so cool. And he still has that cool voice, like, hey, how's it going? And so he's like, so what do you got for me? And I'm like, so I go sit down at the piano and I play him a little.
You're sitting at Burt Bacharach's piano playing on his
piano.
His piano.
At his house.
Playing
him a song.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, that's good. Yeah, I like your lyrics. It sounds like it's pretty much finished, so you don't really need me on that one. I'm like, okay. He goes, well, how about this? So then he sits at the piano and starts playing me a melody. He's like, did anything come to mind? And I wrote the words like that. And he goes, okay, you're good. Like, we're going to write together. And so then I would just go over there every few weeks and we would write, he'd play me a song and I'd write it. And I guess he said in an interview that I'm the fastest writer he's ever written with. So that was like an honor of a lifetime. Mostly because, my mom was like the whole singer-songwriter thing. Like, oh, why don't you get a real job? Like my older sister, she went to Yale and she's a CEO. And so I think I've always been like the black sheep, creative, like now I'm a single mom. And it's like, so when my mom found out I was working with her favorite artist, and he even brought me on tour with them in England, and I got to bring my mom and dad out to the show. And I got to wear, a tux and a gown and come backstage and meet him. That was like a real moment where it shifted for my mom.
You earned some street cred, if you will.
I earned some street cred. Like people my age don't get it. I'll even have artists that I work with now like, what's with all the Burt Bacharach stuff? Like, why? Because it messes up your Spotify. You have this alt song, then a pop song, then it's you and Burt Bacharach. I'm like, you don't get it. He's a legend.
Yeah, he is.
I'm honored to have. It's probably the honor of my career to have worked with him. And so many people my age don't get it. So I guess I'm more of an old soul than a lot of people.
But he's iconic. I mean, he's right up there. Would they say that if you were writing with Paul McCartney?
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's right there.
Yeah.
If not, dare I say, even greater.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is 93, still sharp as a tack, has a babe wife. She's like 60, college kids.
Right.
And he's just with it. He is the hardest worker. Like, he's still, our conversations are short because it's always right to business.
Right.
Like, send me some lyrics if you got them. Or how are you, kid? But he's just, and I introduced him to Daniel Tashin, Casey Musgrave's producer. And then they were nominated for a Grammy this year together. Okay. Daniel and Bert. So that was kind of cool because I felt like I got to get him back into the contemporary game.
Sure.
A little. That was cool.
No, that's awesome. Because I mean, even though, I'm talking about Elvis Costello, which people your age probably go, who?
I only know him from the Burt.
Yeah, so he was amazing in the late 70s and early. I mean, go listen to his music. He's
God,
fat.
Give Me Strength.
But go listen to
House is Empty Now.
Go listen to like his My Aim Is True album. I mean, he was British power pop, and it was brilliant music. And
really?
He's great, and you should go see him live because he's a really fun.
Is he still
he still plays. He's not 93. He can still play.
Okay.
No, he's probably Elvis is probably 70. I would guess.
Cool.
So, all right. You're writing stuff. Bert Bacharach is an occasional collaborator.
Yeah.
Fair statement. Recently, you played in Tacoma at McMiniman's at the Spanish Ballroom.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Which is a venue I still haven't been to.
You should go. It's
fun. So how was that? How was it to get up on stage after, say a year of not being on stage?
That's such a good question. You're asking such good questions that I'm not even having to think, it's just like flowing. So to be honest, I think out of all the cities I've lived in, I mean, it's sold out. Okay. So it really made me love Washington even more because it's for real. In LA, you got to bug people to come to shows. And I was so surprised that somehow it was sold out. And it was magical. It was a magical feeling. I felt like the swirling energy between the people and me and I and me.
Did you like the room?
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was really nice. You should check it out.
Yeah. It's on the list. It's just
really good food too.
So you're not familiar with McMiniman's then, really?
No, but I've been hearing now there's a lot of locations.
Yeah, they're out of Portland, and we joke that Oregon's dead to us on this show, but they're an Oregon company.
Did you say Oregon's dead?
Yeah, Oregon's dead to us because it's all about Washington State.
Do you bleep out Oregon or any other state?
We kid. But they take old buildings, old school buildings, things like that, because that building was in total disrepair. Huh. And they renovate them and turn them into these kind of destination events. So there's the Anderson School up in Bothell, which is just out of Seattle, is a great venue you could play at.
Ooh, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, they got this it was an old high school. I think it was a high school.
Cool.
And they took it, so it's got a campus.
I'm going to write that down.
And
is that a McMiniman's?
It's a McMiniman's. And so they have this outdoor, like you play outdoors.
Wow.
And so it's like people are sitting around drinking and eating. And it's a great venue. And they do, they do some great stuff, and but what's nice about them is that they seem to be very pro musician, that they try really hard to find interesting local talent.
Cool.
And have them at their venues. And so it's like, if it's like they're curating the music, if you will. So in other words, somebody might not know who this band is, but if it's a McMiniman's, it's going to be cool. So we'll go.
Yeah.
So
totally.
That's so not unlike LA, where it's probably a never ending selection of things to go see and do. We don't have that many.
Yeah.
Those things
are cool, actually.
Right. I mean, I think it's cool. Traffic's like LA though. So anyway, it sucks. So your inspiration, so you're writing all these songs really fast for Burt Bacharach, he's playing something. And why do you think that lyrics come so quickly to you? I don't want to say easily. I was going to say easily, but quickly, because that doesn't mean it's easy. It's just quick.
I have no idea. I guess that's my thing.
That's your thing.
Just being able to think of songs on the spot very quickly, which some could argue, well, then do they have depth? I don't know. But even when I was little, my dad would say, we'd be talking to people and he'd say, give her some words, give her a couple words. He'd say chickens, heaven. And I'd string together a little song.
Okay.
So, and I think my brain is just very active. So I'm always thinking. So there's a lot just always ready.
Okay.
As soon as I start writing, I have a lot to say. Or as soon as there's a song, something comes out, So
you don't suffer from the blank page type thing?
Probably the opposite.
Okay.
Probably there's always a lot going on in my head. And subconscious, apparently, or,
Okay. How are you? So walk me through, like I said, there's an SM7B over here on a mic stand. I see a laptop. I see a keyboard over here.
Some Play-Doh.
Play-Doh. I wasn't going to say anything about the Play-Doh. There's some really nice looking lip gel.
That's
and these are for her daughter, by the way, folks. I am making fun of her because she was making fun of me.
Gloss.
Okay, whatever. Glop and goop.
It's not lip goop.
Lip goop. What's your process for writing a song here? Are you doing it? Are you writing music right here? Putting you on the spot. What's the
this could be all different kinds of things. Often I would say mostly someone will, so I'll do a writing session with someone on Zoom or FaceTime. They'll build a track because it's usually a producer, send it to me. I'll pop it into Logic, record the top line vocal, the melody and words with my SM7 and then bounce those files. I'll mix it all together.
Right.
Or I can take out my little MIDI keyboard and start my own track, but I'm not an amazing producer, so I try to leave it to them.
Okay. So really, you could grab your gear in 5 minutes and it'd be in your car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of cool when you think about it.
But I am itching to get back to Nashville and LA and get in the rooms with people again. It's been so long. So I'm excited for that when it happens.
Okay. Is that in the plans?
I have my publishing deal has a little travel budget. I was getting I was getting a lot of radio royalties and then the pandemic hit really hard. So life has changed for me a little. That's why I'm thinking more locally right now. But yeah, eventually they'll send me to Nashville,
Why Nashville?
That's just where a lot of the great producers are and writers.
So when I think of Nashville, I mean, I very much just start
country.
Yeah, I think and I know that's probably not accurate, but that's just my knee-jerk reaction.
Not anymore. Now it's where all the film and TV.
Really?
A lot of pop people have moved from LA to Nashville because it's cheaper. It's like a little creative hub.
I wouldn't say it's little. Nashville's medium. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, compared to LA.
Yeah, it feels little. Okay. Yeah. Have you been?
I've driven through Nashville. Okay. I have never had a meal in Nashville.
Oh, you should. Yeah, it's some hot chicken.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the hot chicken. So, well, okay. So, food here in Washington. Have you found anything? We always like to ask people. So, what do you guys do for fun? Yeah, what do you guys do for fun and excitement around here?
Oh, my favorite thing to do is I pick up my kiddo from school and we go down to Ruston Waterfront. I just love it, and we go to Ice Cream Social.
Oh, okay.
Too much. I spend too much money. We eat sweets a lot. That's our thing. And we get ice cream and we walk down and sit on the rocks by the ocean or play in the splash park or, rent one of those little bike things and do the bike, or she'll play on the playground.
Okay.
I just love the waterfront. It's amazing. You can see seals and mountains and paddleboarders, and it's just beautiful here. What about you? What's the best food you found?
Wow.
What's the best food in Tacoma that I don't know?
Well, I haven't eaten in Tacoma in a while.
What about Puyallup?
Well, so
have you tried a Karma Indian cuisine here? It's so good.
I have not.
They have a piano and they let me play it and gave me a free meal.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
We'll play for food.
The korma, the chicken korma.
Okay.
It's the most authentic.
I have not been out to eat in a while.
Okay.
In Tacoma, a long while. Long while. But I hold fond memories for Dirty Oscar's Annex.
What's that?
It's on 6th Avenue, kind of over by Jazz Bones, where we met that first time.
Is it like a diner? Or?
No, it's just this kind of bistro.
Dirty Oscars?
Dirty Oscars. Yeah.
Have you been to El Gaucho's?
Yeah.
That place is cool.
Yeah, El Gaucho's is cool. Asado's cool.
I've looked at Asado.
Yeah.
Is it like El Gaucho's?
Kind of. Yeah.
It's like El Gaucho's was so surprising. From the outside, it looks so little, and inside, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. No, Asado's kind of cool.
Live music there?
Not at Asado.
Okay.
Not that I know of. But the other place that there's this sandwich, it's a convenience store over off of called MSM Deli. Nothing to look at. You would drive by it 100 times and never stop, but their sandwiches are amazing. Yeah, MSM Deli is a favorite. And then I'm a big coffee fan. And
I'm a big coffee fan too.
So where do you go for coffee? It's my show. I ask the questions.
Starbucks.
No,
Okay,
come on.
Or I like this Anthem.
You like Anthem?
Do you? That's
I
really
do.
all I know.
Yeah,
Is there any place you recommend?
Anthem is great. We probably the time that this episode goes live, we'll have recorded with their owner, and
Really?
he published the episode. Yeah, Anthem's great.
That's so cool.
Let's see who else though.
I can't believe you're going to meet the owner. Sounds like a celebrity to me. Like I drink their lattes all the time.
The guy that owns a coffee shop's a celebrity.
Now
yeah.
you gotta-
Now, welcome to Washington. You are a Washingtonian if you think that coffee shop owners are celebrities, as they should be. I love it. I love it.
When are you going to interview the owner of
No.
Starbucks?
I had the past president of Starbucks on as a previous guest. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Howard.
Did he give you a gift card?
I worked at
Can you
Starbucks.
put me in touch with him?
He-
Can they sponsor me, please?
No, I had
You
Howard.
worked at Starbucks?
I did, yeah.
Oh my god!
But I had Howard Bihar on. He was such a great guy. He's the guy that launched the Frappuccino. Yeah, that was his
What?
one. Yeah, he was. Yeah, anyway, you have to go listen to that episode. I'm not going to share the story.
Okay, I will. I actually hit up just the generic Starbucks Instagram like 3 days ago and said, "Will you guys sponsor me? Because I choose Starbucks over a lot of other coffee shops, and I'm a musician and I drink it like every day." I really did, because sometimes they will. Like I've hit up a couple, like this chocolate company I love, and they sent me a box of chocolates.
Nice, very cool.
You know.
I to avoid the question about coffee. Let's see. In Tacoma, Anthem.
Really? Okay.
There's one on 6th Avenue. The name escapes me. I can see the building. I just don't want to say. I think it's either Bluebeard or Graybeard, and I don't want to be wrong, but I guess I'm going to be wrong now that I said it.
Okay.
They roast their own.
Yeah.
There's great coffee in the town. There's great coffee throughout. I mean, yeah, it's hard to find a bad cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Because you won't be in
I
business.
wonder what the best cup of coffee in Washington is. That would be a good story.
That's impossible because it's personal preference.
But like the one that's bought the most.
Well, Starbucks would be bought the most. I mean, let's be fair. Starbucks is going to win that award.
That's true.
But there's, literally hundreds of coffee roasters throughout the
They
state.
should have a coffee competition.
They do.
Oh.
They have a lot of coffee competitions. Yeah. So,
But where they're all in the same cup and people taste
but
them.
I mean, the logistics of that would be very hard
I'd like
to get.
to be a coffee critic.
Well, you can be. I mean,
But
have a podcast and talk about coffee shops.
Yes, that's a great idea. And then maybe they'd give me free coffee.
There you go. But then it's hard to be objective if you're talking about brand X today and brand Y tomorrow.
Well, they'd all have to give me free coffee to keep it democratic.
Yeah, there
or
you
to
go.
keep it
Yes.
socialist.
Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, let's call it to be fair. All right. So, what else have you do you go to Seattle much?
I do now because, as I told you, I work as a journalist on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really say where because
Okay.
I like to keep it incognito.
Okay.
But yeah. So
How
I've
do you
been-
like that gig?
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm using my brain more than I have in a decade.
Okay.
So all I've been doing is writing pop songs.
So let's talk about that. We won't say where, but let's talk about what does that look like? What do they not make you, but what's your job responsibilities?
Well, remember the whole journalism thing that I mentioned at the beginning? Well, I never thought that would come back around.
Right.
But it has. So using that education I got, I was able to get this job. They really took a chance on me
Right.
too. And I'm the weekend girl. So I go in at like 5 a.m. and read all the stories from the week and then write the news stories of breaking news, what's happening that day. And I tell the news every 30 minutes. And then I write up the news stories and I tell the news, write up the news stories and tell the news and write up the news stories and tell the news. And it's nonstop.
And you like that?
I really like it because I have a very active brain. So it almost feels like meditation for me because it's like a full day where I'm not in my head. I'm forced to just focus my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I thought that I was really happy the way I was living before, which was I'm just a songwriter. I spend a lot of time by myself. I write songs when I can, but I feel a lot better now. Like, using my mind more for almost less creative things.
Okay.
I just feel more.
So does that quick wittedness, but your ability to crank out lyrics pretty quickly, is that helpful when it comes to writing journalism stories that you see something, and does that help you, talk about whatever,
That's a good point. I'm not sure yet. It's been a real challenge because it's much more it's a lot of organizational skills. So I feel like I'm using this whole other side of my brain that's like really difficult for me, but I feel really driven to do it and get good at it right now. So
okay.
Whereas I would have taken stuff as criticism before, I'm now, when people give me feedback, I'm like, okay, they're trying to help me do better. What I am noticing is, so I like to talk to strangers and make up songs for strangers. Now I'll be listening into strangers' conversations for story ideas, So, and then I'll just start talking to them. I did it today at a restaurant. A guy was talking to his daughter about some stuff, and I thought, whoa, I haven't heard that yet. That's really intriguing. So I just went over and I was like, hey, can I record you telling me that? Can you put me in touch with the blah, blah, blah? And then I'm going to go ahead and pursue it as a story. So it's kind of cool.
Okay. So you're up in Seattle on weekends.
Yeah. Oh, and the Grand Central Bakery.
Oh, yeah?
Best sandwich.
Yeah?
Ever. The turkey Havarti cranberry chutney sandwich.
Uh-huh.
It's like to die for.
To die for, huh? All right.
And, I've been finding like Capitol Hill places.
Uh-huh.
Herb and Bitter. Have you been there?
I have not.
Best cocktails ever.
Okay.
Yeah. They're in these tiny cups, so I was a little worried at first. I'm like, are you just trying to take my money for this tiny cup? But it had so much more flavor. And they said it's the ice dilutes everything, and people are just trying to charge you for ice pretty much. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, you think about frozen water as it melts, it dilutes everything you're having. Okay.
Exactly.
Up on the hill, I haven't tried this place yet. I've heard nothing but, because I like cider. I'm a cider fan.
Cider.
So Capital Cider.
Ooh.
And it's a gluten-free restaurant.
Oh, nice. My daughter's father can't have gluten.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Capital Cider.
Oh my gosh, that's really
it's
cool.
Everybody that I've talked to has said pretty much the same thing. Oh, why haven't you been there yet? That's kind of the what I've been told by everybody. So I might recommend you take a look at that.
I'm going to send that to people I know who can't have gluten. That's
there you
really
go.
Cool.
So you're not collaborating with any local musicians.
Oh, I'm totally open to it.
So what are you looking for? Let's put together your musical profile. What are we looking for? Not we, you.
Anything.
Oh, come on. You can't, that's too generic.
I'm open to all of it. Someone who can produce.
Okay.
Or is exceptional at an instrument.
What?
Or who loves to write songs.
All right. I got to tie you down. You got to.
Somebody who doesn't suck.
Somebody who doesn't suck. Okay. That's the
like
good.
Someone who actually knows that they're actually pretty good at music and people have told them that, not just their grandma.
Okay. Exceptional instrument. What instruments are you looking? What are you drawn towards? What instruments resonate with you? I mean, are you looking for somebody that can rock the triangle, or are we looking for somebody who's a guitar player?
Keys, guitar. Like have a basic knowledge of chords and song structure. Would be good.
Not the triangle, huh?
I'm willing to.
You bring it back. Yeah, think about it.
I guess we could try.
I mean, think about
it. Angling it. I could try angling it.
Yeah. Because there's a lot.
As long as they're in good shape.
Oh my gosh. All right. Grown.
And they're not involved in any pyramid schemes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Because Washington State has this great.
Can't be too square.
Yeah, there certainly can't be too square.
But we'll bring it full circle if they can that can write some good lyrics.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
People hate me for that.
That's awesome. So you can just hear your brain working. That's the beautiful part about that. It's so like, oh my God. Because, we have this area has not just recently, but through many, many, many years, prolific.
We're good.
Yeah. Prolific, musicians from Bing Crosby.
Yeah. He was born in Tacoma.
Yeah. And I
haven't been to his house yet, though. Have you?
Yeah, I passed it sometime in my life, I'm sure. And then, I'm skipping around, but obviously Jimi Hendrix was kind of famous.
Oh yeah.
And then,
I gotta go see his gravesite. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Was it cool? Have you read his book?
No, I have not.
Book of his journals, and he's so poetic.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
No, we didn't.
He's very deep, and he would talk about how he smoked for anxiety, cigarettes. You don't picture Jimi Hendrix having anxiety, but he was very shy.
What's really interesting, I saw a photograph of Jimi Hendrix the other day in 1961 or 62, and he was wearing his military uniform, playing guitar with some other military guy playing keys. And then, here he is in a military uniform. And then just a handful of years later, he's this psychedelic, guitar god that was, wearing, just the fashion of the day, but he went from this very conservative uniform, literal uniform, to this very wild, extravagant.
He knew how to play the game.
Yeah, he really did. But, and then we've had, bands like the Sonics, the Wailers, little bands called Nirvana, Pearl Jam, things like that. More recent stuff. We've had Death Cab for Cutie, Modest Mouse, Macklemore, all this stuff. So this area is rich with talent. So you should be able to find somebody, but you gotta put out more than just "You Don't Suck" as a headline, because that's not gonna work.
I didn't know what we were aiming for. Obviously, I'd love to work with Macklemore or Death Cab for Cutie or Brandi Carlile, or I know Train.
Oh, you do?
Pat Monahan. No, I don't know him.
Oh, you
but
don't
I know he lives
in the
not
area,
far away. So it's I don't have their contact, but sure, I'd love to get in touch.
Right.
I have a blue check on Instagram if any of you guys are listening. So
okay, so you do. So there we go. So that's the whole thing. And we're not Los Angeles, we're not Nashville.
Yeah,
but
we're cooler.
We're not. We're at the same time, we're not Los Angeles, we're not Nashville.
Which can be exactly. Yeah. That's what I like about it too.
Yeah. And
people get jealous of me. Actually, people I know in Nashville and LA, they're like, "Oh, you live in Seattle, Washington? That's so cool. I want to live in Washington. It's still so cool here. It's cool."
It is cool. So what else about this place has struck you as being cool? You're living, there's a large rocky object east of you when you think
Mount
about
Rainier?
Yeah, that's the tallest peak in the continental United States.
Wow,
it doesn't get any taller than that in the US.
Wow. You can see it from everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's breathtaking here. Of all the places I've lived nature-wise, it is the most beautiful. And the air feels the cleanest.
Okay.
It's such clean, fresh air.
Okay.
And I like that people are friendly, but also keep to themselves. I've heard that can be the Seattle freeze, but I like it. People, since I've lived here, they're so respectful. Everyone's so respectful of each other's space, but still nice.
Okay.
I really like it here.
Well, good. No, it's why we do this show, is because I've lived here my entire life.
And you like it?
I haven't left.
Yeah.
I've moved around, but I haven't left the state. Yeah. I do like it here.
What do you like about it?
I'm intrigued. Not that I've done it once. The idea that you can go from the ocean to the mountain in a day.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm intrigued. In Eastern Washington, we've got, desert and rolling fields of wheat.
Which I've never been there.
Yeah, it looks completely different than here.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Do you recommend it?
I do. I think Eastern Washington.
Where should I go in Eastern Washington that's cool? If I want to take a weekend trip, is it that hard to get to? Or
oh no, you I think would like Walla Walla.
Walla Walla.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Walla Walla is. A friend of mine showed me a T-shirt. You drink wine, correct? You're okay. So the Walla Walla is a really large wine area. There's 120 wineries in the county. Yeah, and so the T-shirt says Walla Walla is for wine, Napa is for auto parts. And Walla Walla's got this great amazing music scene.
Really?
Yeah, because all the wineries, not all, but many of the wineries have music on the week. And so there's always really cool music being played. The wineries are serving really good wine.
Is there a winery you recommend?
No, I'm not a wine drinker.
Oh.
I'm not. That just, it just.
Not your thing. You like cider.
I'm a cider fan. Yeah.
Cider house rules.
So Walla Walla. I recommend you go to Walla Walla for a weekend.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah, I think you would. I think you would really have a good time.
Cool.
It's completely different than where we are here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Like you can go swim in an outdoor pool. Like, is it kind of like California?
Yeah.
Like weather-wise? Nice.
Yeah, it'll be. So our house the other day when it got really super hot over
Do you
here.
live in Wallow?
No, I live in Wenatchee.
You probably should.
So,
you said that.
so when it was like 105 over here,
Yeah.
we were like 115, and Walla Walla was a little even hotter. So it gets really hot there.
But you have AC probably.
We have AC.
Okay, we didn't. That was rough.
Yeah, miserable. So yeah, Walla Walla will be my recommendation for you.
How far would you say that is? Like 5 hours? Or?
Yeah, probably about a 5 hour drive.
That's not bad.
Yeah, there's no easy way to get there from here because you got to go across the mountains.
Oh, is that dangerous?
No, it's not during summer. Don't go during the winter. No one goes.
Really?
I will never come over to Western Washington during the winter because I don't want to drive across the passes.
Whoa.
But summertime, it's easy.
You know my favorite place I've ever been, like in my life?
Where?
Leavenworth.
Oh, okay.
At Christmas time, because I'm a Christmas baby, so I brought my daughter there for my birthday. Magical. Like the gingerbread factory.
Yeah.
So we found some abandoned sled and I just pulled her around on it.
Cool.
You know,
And Leavenworth's not just for Christmas though.
but it feels like it.
No, it's summertime. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I
Leavenworth.
don't want to ruin its Christmas magic by going in the summer.
I don't think you will.
Okay.
I don't think you will. No, I really don't because it's because there's all sorts of stuff to do around there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So Leavenworth year round. But for you,
Like
if you,
what?
are you an outdoors person at all?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like great hiking.
Okay. Okay.
There's Lake Wenatchee's up there, which is beautiful.
Oh.
Lots of places to eat and drink and
Cool.
wander around. And so, yeah, it's worth, I think, year round. October for Oktoberfest.
Oh.
If you're, the whole German Bavarian thing.
I wonder if they have music at that.
They do.
Cool.
Oompa bands. A lot of guys in lederhosen and, weird little hats.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hot. Sounds hot.
yeah. But you would like that. I would encourage you to check out Walla Walla. You also might like Spokane. Okay. And Spokane's kind of an interesting, bigger city. It's like bigger than Tacoma.
Really?
So yeah, it's like almost 500,000 people in that area, in the general area. So it's got an up and coming music scene and some really cool restaurants. So
you got to send me a list of like cool music places and venues to check out in these different cities.
Visit our website at explorewashingtonstate.com.
I will.
Shameless plug. No. But that's, and then from here, have you gone to Vashon Island?
No.
So you and your daughter should take the ferry from Point Defiance over to Vashon, drive around Vashon for a couple hours, go grab ice cream on the island, that type of thing. It's a fun place.
Vashon,
Vashon.
Vashon Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've been reporting on a lot of ferry breakdowns. It's a little,
Well, but have you guys ridden on the ferry? Oh, you got to absolutely.
She has with her grandparents, but
okay, so you should go.
They're natives,
right? But so you should do the ferry. You could just walk onto the ferry over in Seattle, and seeing Seattle from the water at night, coming back into Seattle is absolutely stunning.
Really?
It's a beautiful city.
Really?
Yeah, you got to check that out.
I like that.
You need to check that out. And since you were playing live, music outside in France and all that, maybe play live on the ferry and just for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. It's.
Why not?
So, what question haven't I asked you that I should ask you? What do people need to know about you as it relates to, you?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. If you want me to make up a song for you or someone you love, find me on Instagram at Melody Federer.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can tell me a little story, and if I can make up a song about them to brighten their day,
all right,
I will.
Okay, so that's the best way to find you is Melody Federer on Instagram?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, and the blue check mark?
Yeah, and the blue check mark.
How'd you get that?
I don't know. The mysterious gods of Instagram.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Me
it's really weird, isn't it?
verified. Are you trying to do that?
Yeah, we are. And we just everywhere we get stonewalled.
I have an idea for you.
It's really interesting.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah, because we think we should have the blue check.
Okay.
I mean, we do.
I think I can help you.
Okay, cool. Do you know somebody? Do you know Mark?
Maybe.
Do you know Mark Zuckerberg?
No, but I'll tell you after this. I'll tell you.
Well, this was fun for me. I had
fun.
coffee.
I had a great time.
And
favorite podcast I've ever done.
Oh, come on now. This is
serious.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you.
But don't tell the other ones that.
And then she'll say, this is the first podcast she's ever done. So
no, I've done a lot this year.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, let me ask you about that. Just from curiosity, really quick.
Okay.
How, we'll skip that one. We'll just cut that out. All right. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I love exploring Washington State with you.
Awesome.
Hear your awesome podcast.
Thanks.
Okay.
Join us next time for another episode of the Exploring Washington State podcast.